You are standing on a busy downtown curb, 20 minutes before a crucial meeting, and the notification pops up on your screen. Your driver canceled. You are now at the mercy of the algorithm. Dedicated black car services offer an alternative to that uncertainty. These companies promise absolute reliability and professionalism, but they demand a steep premium for the privilege. Lux24 occupies this premium tier. They operate a massive geographic footprint across Canada, covering everything from downtown Toronto and Ottawa to regional hubs like Thunder Bay and Sarnia. To service that footprint, they maintain a highly varied fleet. You can book a 3-seat electric vehicle for a solo airport run, or scale all the way up to a 24-seat minibus for large groups. Booking this tier of service is a calculated transaction. You are explicitly trading your capital to eliminate the logistical friction of travel, but deciding if that trade is worth it requires context. We cannot use the same criteria to evaluate a 3-seat executive sedan that we use to evaluate a massive event bus. The core question is identifying the specific point where the additional cost aligns with the logistical demands of your itinerary. To find the answer, we have to match the required inputs, specifically higher cost and the need for advanced planning, against the resulting outcomes of total reliability and guaranteed capacity. This decision tree breaks down the main travel objectives, dictating if a premium service is justified. The first objective is corporate travel, prioritizing uninterrupted productivity. The second is event coordination, requiring flawless execution to manage large groups. Your return on investment depends on accurately identifying which of these travel scenarios you fall into. The modern transit landscape is split. You either rely on the spontaneity of street hailing and on-demand algorithms, or you enter a closed, scheduled digital ecosystem. Lux24 requires the latter. The necessary input here is foresight. You must use their app or web platform to map out and book your itinerary in advance. Looking at this comparison matrix, we start with the variable of booking friction across our different traveler types. That high friction yields total upfront visibility. Before you confirm, Lux24 shows your specific chauffeur, exact vehicle class, and locked-in fare. That locked-in fare sits in direct contrast to standard on-demand apps, which rely on dynamic surge pricing that fluctuates based on local traffic and weather. The trade-off is simple. You give up the ability to request a car on a whim in exchange for eliminating the gamble of who or what will show up to pick you up. The required friction of advanced planning is the exact mechanism that guarantees cognitive ease and zero surprises on the day you actually travel. Let's apply this to a specific route, like the busy intercity corridor between Toronto and Montreal, or Toronto and Ottawa. This map illustrates a heavily segmented regional flight: transit to the airport, security, boarding, and the flight itself. Contrast that with a continuous point-to-point car route. By booking an executive 3-seater, the outcome is a private environment to work continuously. The physical time spent on the highway will be longer than the literal airtime of a regional jet, but raw travel time is the wrong metric. What matters is usable time. You cannot draft a sensitive contract while standing in a security line or waiting at a baggage carousel. For corporate professionals, buying back 4 hours of unbroken, usable time justifies the premium over a fractured, high-stress flight experience. Moving from solo travelers to complex group logistics completely changes the math. Consider coordinating a destination wedding in Niagara Falls or a corporate retreat out in Kawartha Lakes. This scale chart shows the hardware required to move groups effectively, starting at a 5-seat SUV and scaling up through 14-seat sprinters to a 24-seat minibus. Reserving a 24-seat minibus demands significant upfront capital and requires you to finalize your entire group's itinerary well in advance. In return, you keep an entire VIP group synchronized on a single, highly controlled timeline. Compare that to the alternative of having 24 guests attempt to hail their own individual rideshares at the same time in an unfamiliar location. Relying on multiple cars guarantees fragmented arrivals. Somebody will get lost, a driver will cancel, and your event gets delayed. For event coordinators, the return on investment is the total neutralization of scheduling risks. There is one final scenario to consider: a complex, multi-stop executive itinerary stretching across the Greater Toronto Area, from Mississauga up to Vaughan. Rather than booking 6 individual point-to-point trips, the input here is retaining a driver by the hour. This yields total itinerary agility. If a dinner runs long or a meeting location changes, the vehicle acts as a secure, dedicated base that is always waiting exactly where you need it. The trade-off is that you are paying a premium cost per hour, which includes paying for the vehicle's idle time while you are inside conducting business. This hourly model maximizes security and agility for high-profile individuals whose time is simply too valuable to spend standing on a curbside waiting for a car to arrive. Lux24 functions as a logistical operation that prioritizes the delivery of guaranteed movement and time over simple aesthetics. Looking at this final scorecard, we can issue definitive recommendations for our 3 traveler archetypes. For the corporate optimizer, it is a perfect fit. Trading capital to reclaim productive working hours yields a clearly positive return. For the event logistician, it is a strong buy. The availability of high-capacity vehicles guarantees critical group synchronization that is unavailable on standard apps. For the budget traveler prioritizing the lowest possible cost, this is a clear skip. The required advanced booking and premium pricing yield a negative return for purely spontaneous travel. The real value of this service lies in the ironclad guarantee of a predictable outcome, regardless of the complexity of the route.